Hey everyone, welcome to Real French Food. I'm Olivia Saez. We're going to make one of my favorite side dishes, and actually this doesn't necessarily have to be a side dish, it can be a main event because it's just so good. And we're going to really cut as much of the calorie as possible in this. So we're going to do potatoes au gratin, and a lot of you at home know it as au gratin, but the best way for you to say it is au gratin. Or if you feel like being adventurous, au gratin. So the best thing to do is to start with a nice fresh potato. Don't take the skin off. If you really want to, you can, that's fine, but make sure you wash it nice and clean. We're gonna cut this right down the middle. Watch your fingers, make sure you keep them out of the way. We're gonna take a handheld mandolin. And I love using this tool, but be so careful because so many people cut themselves. So take the flat end of your potato, make sure your fingers are nice and out of the way, and we're gonna cut a bunch of thin slices. We rotate our potato so that we get some nice whole slices from this, and we really are just gonna cut our entire potato. Now, you need to be careful as you use this tool, because as you get closer to the blade and more potato slices come off, you run the risk of cutting your fingers. Dangerous tool, really fun and easy to use, but you want to just go slow. Going fast on this is not going to do anything except cause you to lose some parts of your finger. Don't do that. So we're getting pretty close. At this point, you can stop using the potato or you can use the protective piece. And I'm just going to do a couple extra slices with that because otherwise we're going to have pieces that are too thin and too small. And then we'll just cut the rest of our potato. And we'll continue to just rotate it so that you don't have slices that are too different of a shape until we've sliced our whole potato. Now you really only need to use one large potato. If you're using a smaller potato, use up to two. I mean, look how much we have here. We have a lot of potato for our dish. So we are good to go there. Now once we've cut most of our potato, we can go ahead and start assembling our gratin. Now gratin means that it's covered in cheese pretty much, and then it's baked and roasted so that everything melts and oozes together. We're also going to use a little bit of dairy here, so all of that really binds together and then therefore makes the gratin part. So we're going to use probably about a tablespoon of a flavorless oil. You can actually use olive oil or truffle oil if you feel like being adventurous and you don't mind the extra calories. But here we're gonna use a flavorless oil because it really reduces the amount of cholesterol that we're adding to our dish. We really wanna keep this low. So our pan is nicely oiled. We're gonna take our potato slices and we're really going to line the bottom of our pan as evenly as possible. Now we have some of these slices that are not complete slices. That's fine. We'll just make sure that we overlap. You wanna have as few open spots as possible. So we're going to continue to lay this out, overlap as much as you can. We'll actually put a couple extra slices in the middle here too, so we're nicely covered. Our bottom layer is key so that when we actually take the dish out, that everything is intact. So once we've layered all of our potato, and you don't need it to come to the top of your loaf pan, you can have it just come halfway or even a little bit lower. It really is up to you and what dishes that you have. So once we've finished with our layering, we're gonna take our salt and pepper blend again and take another teaspoon, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more depending on how seasoned you prefer it, and just sprinkle over the top. And then we're gonna take about 3 tablespoons of milk. Now you can use skim milk if you want to use regular milk, but if you need to be dairy-free for any reason, you can definitely use a rice milk or a soy milk. Don't use anything like coconut or almond milk. It's gonna add flavors that just won't work with your potatoes. So we're gonna just pour a little bit over the top here. Again, it's about 3 tablespoons. Should be just enough. Sprinkle a little bit more, probably about a tablespoon max of our flavorless oil, just so that everything blends together. And then a little bit of cheese as well. I have probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons here of a part skim mozzarella cheese. Swiss cheese is super good with this. You can use cheddar. If you want to be a little bit more adventurous because you're saving calories in other areas, you can throw some brie on here, which would be unbelievable. Blue cheese would be good. I mean, any kind of cheese that you prefer. You don't have to use a ton, just a little bit, so that you can get a nice golden layer on the top of your potatoes. We're going to pop this in a 350-degree oven. Good 30 minutes. Definitely test it at some point throughout the cooking process to make sure that your potatoes are not overcooking. You want them to cook thoroughly. So use a sharp knife and just prick a little bit and you'll see that it's not crispy, it's soft. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this in the oven. Okay, so while our potatoes are just finishing up the last couple of minutes, they've been going for about 30 minutes now. I've already plated a nice piece of chicken, a little bit of sauce, some green beans. We're just gonna add our gratin from our side. Go ahead and take this out of the oven. So it is nice and hot, so if you want to let the flavors just sort of settle and sit, I would let it cool for just a couple of minutes, but we can go ahead and take this out and go ahead and start cutting up our gratin. Gratin is ready to slice up. And don't be afraid, give yourself a nice generous piece because this is so good. I can just smell it, it's amazing. And then you have a perfect piece of your gratin with your nice healthy chicken and some nice vegetable too. So enjoy your gratin and à votre santé.